Hi everyone, Shiro here. Tonight I would like to share a personal addition to Ultimate Character Controller. It's about a penetration modifier for projectiles. This is a variant of the arrow projectile prefab from the demo, and I made sure that this projectile could hit the sub-character layer, but not the character one, which is used for the main capsule collider, where sub-character is used for ragdoll colliders. And I did that for impact layers, for sticky layers, and there underneath default impact damage data. And I added this custom folder with a float called penetration movement multiplier. So let's go to projectile base, and I made a handful of modifications, nothing much really. In this override for on collision, there is a nice addition by Justin here. And the comment says, when there is a collision, the object should move to the position that was hit. So if it's not destroyed, then it looks like it is penetrating the hit object. And here we modified the position of the projectile directly. And I added this here at the end, because I thought that this was not enough. We multiplied this by a float I added, so the one you saw there. And this is going to push the projectile further. By the way, this needs to be added there in Projectile Base Inspector. So for this first variant, I left that to 1, so it's not going to change anything. However, in this bow weapon variant, by default, we're going to use this projectile, which is identical to the original one almost. However, we're going to use the state system to make a comparison directly in the demo scene, and we're also going to use this one, which has a penetration value of 1.25. We are now in the right section of the demo scene with a bow in hand. You see this blue cube here? It is a state trigger, and it's going to activate the arrow test state, which you saw on the bow weapon. So what we're going to do is we're going to equip the bow. Just a sec. Okay. And we're going to fire an arrow at this guy. Or even 3. Now let's go into the trigger. I think this one went behind him. Okay, now let's fire at this bullseye. Okay, and now let's press pause. Okay, it may not be obvious at first, but if we click there, you can see that only the tip of the arrow is inserted into the flesh. I mean, if I can call that flesh. It's a bit weird. It's not that that disturbing in this situation. But if you compare to this guy, you can see the effect is more visible. And this guy really looks like Boromir at the end of the Fellowship of the Ring. Let's take a look at the archery targets. Once again, this is more visible this time. There's a tiny bit of the tip in there, not even the whole tip planted onto the target. And for this one, however, yeah, it's perhaps a bit too much. Maybe you would need a different penetration value depending on the kind of object you're hitting, although it's starting to be a bit of a niche thing at this point. But anyway, I think that just by looking at this guy here, you can see the usefulness of my suggestion. I'm no archery or physics expert, but I'm pretty sure that the arrow impacts on this guy are more realistic than these impacts. I mean, I have a hard time imagining a real arrow in real life not going further into someone's body. One more thing I would like to show you to make you understand the effect of this modifier. With the gizmos enabled, you're able to see the capsule collider, the arrow projectile, and for this arrow, it stops right there on the impact point. Well, for this one, well, it's going to go further, like that. So with that, you're able to visualize the effects more precisely. Lastly, I would like to share the results of this edition in my own project Purpleye, which features shurikens, or more precisely in this case, kunais, which are like throwing knives. And this one here has a penetration value of 1.2. Now let's start throwing some kunais at some evil mercenaries. Like this. Press pause, and yeah, you can see it right here. And there you go, it's entering the character's stomach. Maybe a tiny bit too deep, but I still like it. And now let's go for the head. And where is it? Okay. There, right through the helmet. It's a really sharp knife. It's a bit absurd, but I personally love it. And I hope once again you see the interest in this edition. Alright, one more, just for fun. Oops. Let's do that in his dick. Let's be sadistic. And it works. Kinda. It's imperfect, but it's something. Yeah, it's a bit too deep, perhaps. But anyway. Alright, that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and have a good day or good night. Bye! And I was about to forget, Merry Christmas to all of you.